thought it was like this because I saw this in a book, or my teacher told me this, or I heard it in this song, or someone who had never traveled told me this story. But there's nothing like seeing for yourself, because no one can make you unsee what you've seen or unhear what you've heard. And so when you talk about the expansion that comes, or the empowerment that comes, when you understand that there is more than our neighborhoods, more than our cities, more than our states, and there's a global economy that we have power in ways that many of us are discovering. When it comes to investment, when it comes to being able to build businesses, we start seeing the opportunities. And when you feel like you have opportunities, or you see or realize that you have opportunities, that empowers you even more. So it's so many different aspects to it. And the more exposure you have, the more opportunities you see. And it's almost like when I saw this in 2018, Dr. Boyce, I knew I had a responsibility to come back and share this with my community, because if I didn't share, then who was going to share? Because we were trying to, spend years trying to figure it out. And, what am I going to do with my money here? And how do I make this happen over there? And so when I've watched people transform just their mindset, and where they used to be fearful, or where they used to be hesitant, or where maybe they never traveled before, now they're starting to travel. It's like one lady who's with us now, her name is Veronica, and she joined us in Egypt last year. And she said, I'd never been on a plane before. And so this is another group that we're working with. She had been with them. She came last year. She said, I'd never been on a plane before. I'm 63 years old. She said, but I got on the plane, and she said, you know what? I have my wings now. And so the day she saw me today, gave me a big hug. She said, I said, now you're in Ghana. And so that's empowering her to empower her daughter, to empower her granddaughter. So her granddaughter doesn't become 63 and never had left the country. Now, here's another one, Dr. Boyce, and then I'll turn it back over to you. We have a group in South Africa right now, and it's a 74-year-old pastor and his wife. And he posted on his page, he said, you know what? I wasn't excited about the trip because it was going to be long getting here. He said, but this is my first international trip. I said, wow, just at 74, his first international trip. He said, but I'm so glad I did it, because I'm able to see the similarities in the cultures, and I'm able to see how we move and how we flow. So when you do or create these types of opportunities for people, they take it back home, and then they process it how they need to process it. And as that happens, it's just like, this is how we change our community. This is how we change the circumstances we're in, because we're now having the exposure, and others can now take it and empower themselves and run with it and empower their families.
Wow. Well, what's interesting to me, man, is I know that sometimes um, fear is contagious. Sometimes among our people, in the sense that when I look at what's happening politically, and by the way, I should pause for a moment. If I start to glitch or something, or I freeze or anything, somebody let me know in the chat, because we've had that issue. So give me a yes if you can hear me okay. Let me know if I'm coming through all right. Um, so basically, I see a lot of scared Black people right now,
Oh yeah.
particularly with what's going on in Washington and everything. And not just Washington, but what's happening with the economy. There's a slowdown. You got artificial intelligence coming along, which creates a lot of uncertainty, and there's just fear, right? And I find that fear is made worse when you feel like you are constrained in a certain space.